Hey, this is Reverend Joanna Bartlett, and in this video I'm going to talk about this fantastic book called How to Understand Your Gender, a Practical Guide to Exploring Who You Are, which is by Alex Ian Tuffy and Meg John Barker. And I bought this book. This doesn't seem like it goes along with what I usually talk about intuition and grief and healing from loss and that kind of thing. But I bought this book as part of my journey to support and advocate for one of my kids, my youngest kid, who is transgender male. And I wanted to understand more about gender, and I also had some inklings that maybe I needed to understand some more things about my own gender as well. And this book has been a fantastic resource for me. It is very well written, it's very clear, it's very inclusive in its language, and it also incorporates mindfulness, which I love. There are throughout the book, kind of in between chapters, there's little pauses that say, it's time to breathe. You know, take a moment to breathe. You don't need to change your breath. Just notice it to really resource you and nourish you as you are reading about and contemplating a book about gender, and that can bring up a lot of emotional stuff. It can be emotionally hard and difficult or feel kind of overwhelming perhaps. And so this book is very kind and compassionate and loving towards its reader, and I really like that and appreciate that. Because, you know, just exploring gender and understanding more about it can be emotionally challenging, and especially depending on your experiences and where you come from. And so I think it's really important to be kind to yourself, to be compassionate, and to acknowledge that and recognize it. We have feelings. We're not supposed to squish our feelings or ignore them or avoid them. You know, we have to be with them, or it's good if we can be with them. And so I like that it encourages you to do that. Beyond that, it's packed full of really useful information. It does a great job of differentiating between gender identity and gender expression and sexual orientation, and you know, those different things that can be related and often get kind of mixed up together. And it's a book that really gives you a whole lot of permission to be yourself, whoever that is. I'm all about people being their authentic self and being who they are. And there's lots of exercises in here to help you learn more about yourself, remember more about yourself, and discover more of who you are and what this all perhaps means to you or to others in your life. Because even if you are cisgendered, which means that you identify with the gender that you were assigned at birth, which is generally based upon the genitalia that you have, usually male or female, then understanding what goes into gender identity and gender expression allows you to be a good ally and to be potentially an advocate for the people in your life who need that, perhaps. And so reading this book was actually quite eye-opening, heart-opening. I guess for me, it gave me a lot more vocabulary and understanding. It helped me understand that if I have to choose a word or a label to identify the gender that I am internally, that would be non-binary. It is the closest thing of being, for me, kind of being neither male nor female exactly, or both male and female. Um, and so that was very affirming for me to go, oh, okay, my understanding of who I am and what gender means to me and how it works for me, that has a word, and that's this word, and it can encompass all of these things. And it also is very helpful for me to understand that gender identity and gender expression are not the same thing. And so as a non-binary person, I do not have to achieve some kind of non-binary look, whatever that might be. Perhaps, you know, which is often portrayed as being very androgynous, which is often kind of masculine. And pretty much everybody is going to assume my gender is female. That's what we've all assumed for the last 42 years. So, you know, even with short purple hair, people still are going to think I'm female. And that's okay, and I can dress however I want. It also helped me understand more about my own child, who would be gender non-conforming no matter what gender identity they have, and kind of just be more relaxed about it and be okay about it. And I really love that, and I'm really grateful to that. So there you go, How to Understand Your Gender, a practical guide to exploring who you are. Fantastic resource if you have anybody in your life who is exploring their own gender, or if you are interested in doing the same, pick up this book. It's a good read, well worth it. And I will see you in the next video.